promising performance on the weekend. What do you take out of the Carlton performance, and then what can you take into the Geelong game on Saturday?
Yeah, well, we're really pleased that we bounced back from an indifferent performance the week before against Sydney up in Sydney. I mean, they were a very, very good side, but so were Carlton. So to compete like we did was really pleasing, and we were right in the game for the whole contest. So that was great. We just need to learn to just win close games of footy, and pleasantly for our club, we've been in these situations. We won a couple of them, and lost 2 or 3 too that have been close. So that was a close contest all game. So we take confidence out of that. They're a really good side, Carlton. We take credit for the better performance than the week before, but we just our polish with the footy when we were out and had opportunities just to execute our skills a little bit better. We just weren't quite there, and Carlton, to their credit, applied a lot of pressure in the second half that caused some of those errors for us. So that's why they're second on the ladder. They can do that in the pivotal moments, and we're not quite there yet. But I think we've shown our fans and ourselves that we're capable of doing it at different stages. We've just got to become more consistent at it.
How long does it take to learn how to win those close games for a younger group?
Well, how long's a piece of string? You got no idea. But what I do know is that the more experience and the more exposure that they get to those types of situations. So, last year we weren't winning many of them. This year we've won a couple of them. So, just got to learn as you go through, and hopefully you'll win more than you lose. But when you're playing against very, very good sides, you're never going to win them all. Just the simple shape of the ball makes it difficult. That's how unpredictable our game is. So, but you just try and do your best in those situations. But we just know that there were chances on the weekend where we just made basic skill errors that gave Carlton goals. That if we're better in that space, gives us a better chance to be in the game at the end.
A big run for the guys. You've had the top 2 on the ladder, and you're up against Geelong this week. How do you see the challenge of the Cats down in Tassie?
Yeah, we're looking forward to it, because once again it's a good test for us just to measure ourselves against some of the best in the competition. So we had the favourite for the flag, up in Sydney. Then we have Carlton, who are second on the ladder, and this week we've got a team that's been in the top 4 most of the year, and have won a flag only 18 months ago. So that's a great test for our boys, and we'll find out where we're at. But we need to play somewhere near our very best. But if we do and compete like we did through the middle of the ground in particular, like we did against the Blues, then we'll give ourselves a chance. But we know if we drop our guard in that space like we did against Sydney, then it's going to be really tough. So sometimes the game can be pretty simple. Win the midfield battle and you win the game. But that's going to be key to this week's game again, I think.
Where do you see Charlie Coleman playing long term? Obviously, he's been really good in defence, but he swung forward on the weekend.
It's so hard. He played a lot of his junior footy as a forward in the first part of his career here. We switched him back. He was really accomplished playing behind the ball, and it will just depend on what the team requires. What's the matchup with the opposition? The really good part about it, and what we'd love to be able to have, is Charlie to have the flexibility to go from one end to the other, just depending on what happens from the opposition one day to the next. But he'll settle at either centre half back or centre half forward at some point in time, and just at the moment it's just too early even for us to predict which one it's going to be.
Must be a really bright spot from the year. Just his development, he's come a long way, and to have that flexibility, as you mentioned, it's key guys playing both ends.
Yeah, he was drafted as a player that thought he had a big future in the game, and he's just had, which a lot of young players do, just really find it difficult transitioning from junior footy, underage footy, to the rigours of body contact for the big fellas in particular, week in, week out. And he's for 3 or 4 years has had some injury troubles, and this year has been the first year where he's really got a good run at it, and it doesn't surprise anyone within the footy club of what his capabilities are, but perhaps to the outside world, because most of the outside world just judge players on what they can produce on game day, not their prospects or what they did at under 18s, and that's fair enough. But from within the walls of our club, we knew his capabilities. It was just a matter of having the durability to get out there week to week, and that's what he's been able to show. And now to the whole football world, it's a little bit of a surprise, but it's not to us.
Would you look to play on Jeremy Cameron? So no one putting their hand up. It's a tricky matchup.
Yeah, well, but no more trickier than Charlie Curnow last week and Harry Mackay. So every week you come up against really, really talented forwards, and we'll just back our guys in. Grifflow came back last week, and for his first game back, that was an enthralling contest between he and Curnow. Curnow ends up kicking 4 goals, but a couple of those guys we gifted to him through our mistakes. So I thought Griff was really, really competitive against Curnow last week, and but whether or not it's he or Corey, or depending on the way they pick their side, Comben might play some time down back too. So we'll work that out over the next couple of days as we sort of assess what we think is best for us, and then also look at the Geelong side and how they've selected their side. They've got probably a couple of changes that they'll make to their side based on the fact that their side probably altered a little bit because of the conditions last week against the Dogs. So we'll see what their side looks like and then make an adjustment if we need to.
Sounds like Jaden Stevenson played quite well in the VFL last week at half back. Is there a spot for him in the scenes? Yeah,
well, he's played a little bit back and on the wing and forward in the last 6 weeks for us at both senior and reserve grade level, and he's performed quite well over the last month. So depending on if we make a change, he might get an opportunity this week because he's been one of our better performed in the last few weeks.
So Harry had a lighter day today. Is he a bit sore? Or?
No, well, we had a few guys that we just managed on a 6-day break, and we had a heavier deck today. We just made sure we just managed a few players. So some were in and out of training, and some didn't even go on the track at all. So they'll do a little bit more work with the session tomorrow down in Tassie. So that's sort of par for the course on any 6-day break where you're managing players left, right, and centre in terms of just their loads. And some of it's got to do with just the fact that it's a short break. Some of it's got to do with the fact that a lot of these guys have had heavy loads for 17, 18 games. So we'll just lighten them off a little bit.
Colby's been a bit sore, or certainly was last week. Is he good to go playing his home state?
Yeah, so we hope so. Same sort of thing. He's been managed, and he'll train again tomorrow and see how he goes. But like a lot of players at this time of the year, they're just craving for a little bit of spell from the bumps and bruises of the season. I think the guys, the fortunate teams that are in the finals, are looking forward to that post-season bye, so they can all freshen up for the most important part of the year. But the teams that are in the bottom parts of the ladder, they're not getting that break in the next couple of weeks. They'll get their break, unfortunately, in September.
So I was about Geelong, the success that they've been able to create over the last couple of decades, with of course under Chris Scott as well. Is that something that you would love to emulate here at North? And is that that sort of a pathway you would take?
Well, every club's got a different way of doing it. Our approach is whatever's the best way to get yourself silverware. We're not in the game, and that's the fortunate part for both Sydney and Geelong, who have been the two best clubs in my view, have been able to keep themselves up there. And they'd say to themselves, we've done it pretty well because we've won a couple of flags in the last 20 years. And by and large, the parity of the competition, preferable parity of the competition, would have it that every team wins a flag once every 18 years, and then just takes leave of absence for a period of time before they come back again. So both those clubs have won a couple in a shorter period of time than 36 years. So they'd say their method is working, and every club in the competition would like that sort of record. But it's really our approach is whatever you need to do to put yourself in a position to win silverware is what you need to do. And for our club, that meant tracking back down in the low echelons of the ladder and try and find a way to get back up with some pretty secure talent. But Geelong and Sydney are very, very different demographics. Their clubs do. Not every club can have the fortune of having an academy where you just provide players, and Geelong have nearly got their own academy in the southwest as well. So every club's a little bit different the way they need to need to structure it up. And but they've been two terrific clubs for a long period of time, and I'm sure they're the envy of the competition in terms of being able to compete regularly.
Do you have a view on the sub rule? Brad Scott came out yesterday and said, he's said it a few times, that he wants it gone, and the AFL Players Association came out today and they also say they want it gone. Just to
I haven't really got a view on it, and we haven't even discussed it internally, to be fair. Scotty should have done something about it last year, you'd reckon, wouldn't you? He had the chance to do something about it then. He should have, in hindsight, he should have done it then. But no, I haven't got a comment on it, really.
And the concussions, there's the AFL doctors, they want it all done off field, the concussion test. Would you like to see that done?
Listen, it's such a delicate area. My view is the docs are in the best position together with the AFL and making a call on what's best for the player, and whatever they come up with, then the coaches and the players will just swing in behind, and but they'll address it as a big issue in the game, and they'll make a good call, I'm sure.